Welcome to the Balkans. A region where dramatic mountains, ancient towns, and crystal-clear seas shape one of Europe's most fascinating landscapes. For thousands of years, empires, cultures, and traditions have crossed paths on this peninsula of southeastern Europe. From the Adriatic coastlines to the deep valleys of the Dinaric Alps, the Balkans hold stories written in stone cities, rivers, and timeless villages. Yet, despite this remarkable beauty and history, the Balkans remain one of Europe's most underrated travel regions. The Balkan Peninsula lies in southeastern Europe and includes countries such as Albania, Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Montenegro, Serbia, Bulgaria, Slovenia, and several neighboring regions. This diverse landscape combines rugged mountains, winding rivers, historic towns, and scenic coastlines along the Adriatic and Black Seas. For centuries, the Balkans have been shaped by different civilizations, creating a rich mix of cultures, traditions, and architecture that still define the region today. Today, travelers visit the Balkans to explore dramatic natural scenery, centuries-old cities, and vibrant local traditions that reflect the region's complex past. Before we continue our journey, here is a question for you. Which sea borders much of the western coastline of the Balkans? Tell us your answer in the comments. If you enjoy discovering fascinating destinations and hidden corners of the world, please support the channel. Liking and subscribing is completely free, but it helps creators more than you can imagine. And tell us in the comments, which country should we explore next? Sveti Stefan, Montenegro. Sveti Stefan rises from the Adriatic Sea like a timeless stone jewel along Montenegro's stunning Budva Riviera. This small fortified island village lies about 6 kilometers / 3.7 miles southeast of Budva, connected to the mainland by a narrow natural causeway. The settlement dates back to the 15th century, when local fishermen built a fortified village to defend against coastal threats. Over centuries, the island evolved into a compact cluster of traditional stone houses with red-tiled roofs overlooking the turquoise Adriatic waters. The warm colors of the historic villas contrast beautifully with the soft pink sand beaches that stretch along both sides of the causeway. Today, Sveti Stefan is internationally known as one of Montenegro's most photographed coastal landmarks. During the 1950s, the historic village was transformed into an exclusive resort while preserving its original architecture and layout. Many global travelers and photographers visit the nearby viewpoints to capture the island's dramatic setting between sea and mountains. The surrounding coastline offers peaceful walking paths, small coves, and panoramic views of the Adriatic horizon. Local seafood restaurants nearby serve fresh Adriatic fish, grilled vegetables, and regional Mediterranean dishes inspired by Montenegro's coastal cuisine. The nearby Budva region also contributes to the area's economy through tourism, hospitality, and maritime activities. Sunrise and sunset create especially striking scenes when golden light reflects across the calm Adriatic waters. Even from a distance, the island feels suspended between history and nature, preserving the charm of a centuries-old coastal settlement. Sveti Stefan remains a symbol of Montenegro's Adriatic identity, where heritage architecture and natural beauty exist in remarkable harmony. Sarajevo, Bosnia and Herzegovina. Sarajevo lies in a narrow valley of the Dinaric Alps, surrounded by forested mountains in central Bosnia and Herzegovina. The Miljacka River flows through the city, dividing historic districts and modern neighborhoods. With a population of about 275,000 residents, Sarajevo stands as the cultural and political center of the country. For centuries, this city has been known as a meeting point of civilizations where Eastern and Western influences shaped daily life. Architectural styles across Sarajevo reflect Ottoman, Austro-Hungarian, and later European influences, creating a unique urban landscape. The historic Old Quarter, Bashcharshia, preserves traditional markets, craft workshops, and small cafes where local culture remains visible. Copper artisans, textile sellers, and handmade souvenir shops continue long traditions of craftsmanship in the old streets. Bosnian cuisine adds another layer of identity with popular dishes such as cevapi, burek, and grilled meats served in family-run restaurants. The city's cultural life thrives through museums, galleries, music festivals, and film events that attract visitors from across Europe. Sarajevo also carries a complex modern history, shaped by the difficult years of the Bosnian War between 1992 and 1996. Since then, large parts of the city have been rebuilt, restoring neighborhoods and revitalizing public spaces. Today, Sarajevo blends historic heritage with modern urban energy, offering visitors mountain scenery, rich culture, and resilient local spirit. Walking through its streets reveals layers of history, where every square, bridge, and hillside tells a story of endurance and renewal. Belgrade, Serbia. Belgrade stands at the meeting point of the Danube and Sava rivers in northern Serbia, forming one of southeastern Europe's most strategic locations. With a population of around 1.4 million people, it is the largest city and the political, cultural, and economic center of Serbia. The city's position between major rivers made it a crossroads of trade, migration, and military routes for centuries. Belgrade's architecture reflects layers of history, where Byzantine, Ottoman, and Central European influences appear side by side. Historic districts reveal elegant 19th-century buildings, while New Belgrade presents bold modernist and brutalist structures from the 20th century. At the confluence of the two rivers stands Kalemegdan Fortress, offering sweeping views across the waterways and surrounding landscapes. Public parks, riverside promenades, and wide boulevards provide spaces where locals gather for recreation and outdoor activities. Belgrade's cultural scene is equally vibrant, with numerous museums, theaters, galleries, and concert venues across the city. Traditional Serbian cuisine is widely enjoyed in local restaurants, where dishes such as grilled meats, fresh breads, and hearty stews are common. The rivers also shape everyday life, supporting tourism, river transport, and leisure activities along Belgrade's waterfront. Markets, cafes, and historic squares create a lively urban atmosphere that blends tradition with modern city life. Today, Belgrade continues to grow as a regional hub, where centuries of history coexist with contemporary culture and development. Lake Skadar, Europe. Lake Skadar spreads across the border of Montenegro and Albania, forming the largest lake in southern Europe. The lake covers a seasonal area between about 370 and 530 square kilometers, depending on rainfall and water levels. Surrounded by the dramatic Dinaric Alps, its calm waters reflect rugged mountains and wide open skies. Wetlands, rocky shores, and quiet inlets create a remarkable ecosystem that supports more than 260 bird species. Because of this biodiversity, Lake Skadar is considered one of Europe's most important habitats for migratory birds. Large flocks of pelicans, herons, and cormorants can often be seen resting in the reeds or gliding above the water. Small fishing villages along the shoreline continue traditions that have existed for generations. Wooden boats and simple stone houses reflect a lifestyle closely connected to the rhythms of the lake. Local cuisine often features freshly caught carp and eel, two fish species that have long supported the local economy. The lake's calm waters also attract visitors interested in kayaking, boat tours, and birdwatching. Many travelers explore hidden beaches, quiet islands, and panoramic viewpoints that overlook the vast landscape. Since 1983, the Montenegrin side of the lake has been protected as Lake Skadar National Park. This protection helps preserve its wetlands, wildlife habitats, and traditional cultural landscapes. Today, Lake Skadar remains one of the Balkans' most impressive natural treasures, where wilderness and heritage exist in peaceful balance. Berat, Albania. Berat rests in central Albania along the Osum River, surrounded by gentle hills and dramatic mountain scenery. Often called the City of a Thousand Windows, its hillside houses form a remarkable architectural panorama. Rows of white Ottoman-era homes climb the slopes, their large windows facing the valley below. These historic buildings create the distinctive appearance that made Berat one of Albania's most recognizable towns. The city's history stretches back more than 2,400 years, with early settlements established during ancient Illyrian times. Later centuries brought influences from Roman, Byzantine, and Ottoman civilizations, shaping the city's cultural character. Berat Castle stands above the town on a rocky hill, offering sweeping views across the Osum Valley. Within the castle walls, small neighborhoods, stone streets, and traditional houses reveal layers of medieval life. The surrounding landscape adds to Berat's charm, with Mount Timor rising in the distance to about 2,416 meters (7,927 feet). Traditional Albanian cuisine is part of the local experience, featuring dishes such as tave kosi and freshly baked breads. Agriculture and tourism support much of the local economy, while vineyards and olive groves cover nearby hills. In 2008, Berat was recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site for its preserved historic architecture. Visitors walking through the narrow streets encounter stone bridges, quiet courtyards, and centuries-old homes. Berat remains one of Albania's most treasured historic towns, where architecture, landscape, and culture blend into a remarkable living heritage. Piran, Slovenia. Piran sits on a narrow peninsula along Slovenia's small but beautiful Adriatic coastline in the northern Mediterranean. The town rises gently above the sea, surrounded by protective stone walls and colorful historic buildings. Its compact layout reflects centuries of maritime life, where narrow streets wind between tightly built houses. Piran developed strongly during the period of the Venetian Republic, which ruled the area for several centuries. Because of this history, the town's architecture carries a clear Venetian character, with elegant facades and coastal squares. Tartini Square forms the heart of the town, named after the famous violinist Giuseppe Tartini, who was born here. The square opens toward the harbour, where small fishing boats and sailing vessels still anchor along the waterfront. Walking through Piran reveals quiet alleys, stone stairways, and terraces overlooking the deep blue Adriatic Sea. Seafood plays an important role in the local cuisine, with fresh fish, shellfish, and Mediterranean herbs featured in many dishes. Salt production in nearby Sechovlia salt pans has also been an important economic activity for centuries. Today, tourism supports much of Piran's economy, drawing visitors interested in coastal scenery and historic charm. The town's elevated viewpoints provide sweeping views across the Adriatic coastline and neighboring countries. Sunsets are particularly striking, when warm Mediterranean light reflects across the harbour and red rooftops. Piran remains one of Slovenia's most picturesque coastal towns, where maritime heritage and Mediterranean atmosphere meet. Rovinj, Croatia. Rovinj stands along the western coast of the Istrian Peninsula in northern Croatia, facing the calm waters of the Adriatic Sea. The historic town rises on a small peninsula that was once an island, later connected to the mainland. Colorful houses cluster tightly along narrow streets, creating one of the most recognizable coastal skylines in the region. From the sea, Rovinj appears as a compact hill of stone buildings crowned by a tall bell tower. The old town developed during centuries of maritime trade and fishing along the Adriatic coast. Its streets follow a medieval layout, with winding lanes, stone archways, and small squares opening toward the sea. Harbourfront cafes and restaurants overlook rows of fishing boats that still bring fresh catch each morning. Local cuisine highlights seafood dishes such as grilled fish, mussels, and pasta with Adriatic shellfish. Nearby forests and coastal parks provide walking paths, cycling routes, and panoramic views of the coastline. Rovinj's surrounding waters include several small islands and quiet coves that attract boaters and photographers. Tourism plays a major role in the local economy, supported by hotels, art galleries, and traditional craft shops. Artists have long been drawn to Rovinj's light and scenery, giving the town a strong creative atmosphere. Visitors often explore its steep stone streets, where balconies, flower pots, and sea views appear around every corner. Rovinj remains one of Croatia's most charming coastal towns, where maritime tradition and Mediterranean beauty blend naturally. Plovdiv, Bulgaria. Plovdiv stands in southern Bulgaria along the Maritsa River, surrounded by rolling plains and gentle hills of the upper Thracian Valley. Often regarded as one of Europe's oldest continuously inhabited cities, its history stretches back more than 6,000 years. The city spreads across several natural hills, creating a distinctive landscape where historic districts rise above the modern streets. Archaeological remains reveal traces of Thracian settlements, followed by Roman and later Byzantine influences. One of Plovdiv's most impressive landmarks is the ancient Roman theatre, carefully preserved on a hillside overlooking the city. This remarkable structure, built in the 1st century AD, still hosts concerts, cultural performances, and international festivals. Nearby streets in the old town display beautifully restored houses from the Bulgarian National Revival period. These colorful buildings feature carved wooden balconies, painted facades, and peaceful courtyards hidden behind stone gates. Plovdiv's cultural identity remains strong through art galleries, museums, and annual music and film events. Traditional Bulgarian cuisine is easy to find in the city's restaurants, with dishes such as banitsa, grilled meats, and fresh salads. The central pedestrian district forms a lively urban space filled with cafes, local shops, and creative studios. Plovdiv was named the European Capital of Culture in 2019, highlighting its growing reputation as a creative center. Today, the city blends ancient heritage with modern energy, where historic ruins stand beside vibrant contemporary life. Walking through Plovdiv reveals thousands of years of history layered across its hills, streets, and cultural traditions. Soča River, Slovenia. The Soča River flows through the dramatic Julian Alps of northwestern Slovenia, carving a vivid turquoise path through deep mountain valleys. Often called the Emerald River, its clear waters reflect the surrounding alpine forests and limestone peaks. The river begins in Triglav National Park at an elevation of about 990 meters (3,248 feet) near the slopes of Mount Triglav. From there, it travels roughly 138 kilometers (86 miles) through Slovenia and into Italy before joining the Adriatic Basin. Steep cliffs and narrow gorges shape much of the river's course, creating striking landscapes along its winding path. The Soka Valley is widely known for outdoor activities such as rafting, kayaking, canyoning, and fly fishing. Adventure travelers often visit the area to experience fast-moving rapids and crystal-clear alpine pools. Suspension bridges and mountain trails offer scenic viewpoints above the river's bright green waters. Small alpine villages along the valley preserve traditional lifestyles shaped by mountain agriculture and tourism. Local restaurants serve hearty Slovenian dishes such as trout, mountain cheeses, and freshly baked breads. The surrounding region also carries historical significance linked to the First World War battles in the Isonzo front. Today, peaceful hiking trails and memorial sites quietly reflect this complex chapter of European history. Nature remains the valley's greatest attraction, with dense forests, waterfalls, and dramatic alpine scenery. The Soka River continues to symbolize Slovenia's wild beauty, where powerful mountain landscapes meet pristine natural waters. Durmitor National Park, Montenegro. Durmitor National Park lies in northern Montenegro, where dramatic mountains rise across the rugged landscape of the Dinaric Alps. The park covers roughly 390 square kilometers and includes towering peaks, deep valleys, and glacial lakes scattered across the high plateau. Durmitor's highest summit, Bobatov Kuk, reaches about 2,523 meters (8,278 feet) above sea level. These limestone mountains form one of the most striking alpine landscapes in the Balkans. More than 18 glacial lakes are found throughout the park, often called the Mountain Eyes because of their clear blue waters. Black Lake, known locally as Crno Jezero, is one of the most visited natural sites within the national park. Dense pine forests surround many of these lakes, creating peaceful scenery that changes dramatically with the seasons. The Tara River Canyon, located along the park's edge, is among the deepest river canyons in Europe. The canyon reaches depths of around 1,300 meters (4,265 feet) and stretches for about 82 kilometers (51 miles). This dramatic gorge attracts travelers interested in rafting, hiking, and panoramic mountain viewpoints. Traditional mountain villages nearby reflect a lifestyle shaped by shepherding, agriculture, and seasonal tourism. Local cuisine often includes hearty dishes made with mountain cheeses, roasted meats, and fresh dairy products. Durmitor National Park was added to the UNESCO World Heritage List in 1980 because of its unique geological and ecological value. Today, the park remains one of Montenegro's most impressive natural landscapes, where alpine wilderness and traditional culture exist side by side. Meteora, Greece. Meteora rises dramatically in central Greece, where massive sandstone rock pillars tower above the plains of Thessaly. These towering formations were shaped over millions of years by erosion, wind, and shifting geological forces. Some of the rock columns rise nearly 400 meters (1,312 feet) above the surrounding valley. Creating an extraordinary natural landscape. The cliffs appear almost vertical, forming narrow plateaus at the top of many stone towers. For centuries, these isolated peaks offered natural protection and quiet isolation within the rugged terrain. Stone stairways and carved pathways now connect parts of the cliffs, allowing visitors to explore the heights safely. The surrounding town of Kalambaka sits at the base of the rock formations, serving as the main gateway to the area. From the valley floor, the tall pillars dominate the skyline and create one of Greece's most recognizable landscapes. Walking trails and viewpoints provide remarkable perspectives of the rocky towers rising from green farmland below. Sunrise and sunset are especially striking when warm light illuminates the sandstone surfaces and deep shadows form across the valley. Local villages nearby preserve traditional Greek architecture and quiet countryside lifestyles. Regional cuisine often includes olive oil dishes, fresh vegetables, cheeses, and breads, typical of central Greece. Today, Meteora attracts travelers, photographers, and hikers interested in its rare geological scenery. The region stands as one of Greece's most unique landscapes, where nature has sculpted an unforgettable stone horizon. Budva, Montenegro. Budva sits along Montenegro's Adriatic coast, forming one of the country's oldest and most vibrant seaside towns. Located about 20 kilometers/12 miles south of Kotor, the city faces the deep blue waters of the Adriatic Sea. Budva's coastline stretches for nearly 35 kilometers/22 miles, filled with sandy beaches, rocky coves, and scenic promenades. At the heart of the city lies Budva Old Town, a compact historic district surrounded by medieval stone walls. Narrow streets, small squares, and traditional stone houses reflect centuries of Adriatic maritime heritage. Archaeological evidence suggests that Budva's history dates back more than 2,500 years to ancient Illyrian settlements. Over time, different civilizations left architectural and cultural influences across the town. Today, Budva combines historic character with a lively coastal atmosphere shaped by tourism and local businesses. Seaside cafes and waterfront restaurants line the marina, serving fresh seafood, grilled fish, and Mediterranean dishes. Local markets offer olives, cheeses, and traditional pastries that reflect the region's coastal cuisine. Budva's beaches attract visitors throughout the summer, especially popular spots such as Mogran Beach and Jazz Beach. The nearby hills provide scenic viewpoints overlooking the town, the marina, and the open Adriatic horizon. Tourism plays a major role in the local economy, supporting hotels, cultural events, and seasonal festivals. Budva remains one of Montenegro's most famous coastal destinations, where historic streets meet the energy of the Adriatic coast. Transylvania, Romania. Transylvania lies in central Romania, surrounded by the sweeping arc of the Carpathian Mountains. This historic region is known for its forested landscapes, medieval towns, and dramatic mountain scenery. Rolling hills, fertile valleys, and dense woodlands create one of Eastern Europe's most distinctive natural environments. The region has been shaped by many cultures, including Dacian, Roman, Hungarian, and Saxon communities over centuries. These influences appear clearly in Transylvania's architecture, traditions, and historic town centers. Cities such as Brașov, Sibiu, and Cluj-Napoca feature colorful squares, stone streets, and preserved medieval buildings. Many towns also maintain fortified villages and defensive walls built during earlier periods of regional conflict. Agriculture remains important across rural areas, with vineyards, farms, and grazing lands spread throughout the countryside. Traditional Romanian cuisine often includes hearty dishes such as stews, roasted meats, and fresh breads. Local markets offer cheeses, honey, and seasonal produce grown in nearby valleys. Tourism has grown steadily as travelers explore the region's castles, mountain landscapes, and historic towns. The surrounding Carpathian Mountains provide opportunities for hiking, wildlife observation, and scenic drives. Transylvania also carries a strong cultural identity shaped by folklore, craftsmanship, and rural traditions. Today, the region stands as one of Romania's most fascinating destinations. Where natural beauty and centuries of history coexist across a remarkable landscape. Plitvice Lakes National Park, Croatia. Plitvice Lakes National Park lies in central Croatia between the mountainous regions of Lika and the forested interior of the country. The park covers nearly 300 square kilometers of protected landscapes filled with lakes, waterfalls, and dense woodland. Sixteen interconnected lakes form the heart of the park, arranged in terraces connected by flowing waterfalls. These lakes display striking shades of turquoise, emerald, and deep blue due to minerals and sunlight reflection. Wooden walking paths stretch across the water, allowing visitors to move safely between the lakes and viewpoints. Many small waterfalls cascade over natural limestone barriers known as travertine formations. These formations continue to grow slowly as minerals deposit along the flowing water. The surrounding forests provide habitat for wildlife, including deer, wolves, and brown bears within the protected ecosystem. The park also supports numerous bird species and rare plant communities across its valleys and hills. Boat rides across the larger lakes offer peaceful views of the surrounding forests and cascading waterfalls. Visitors often spend several hours exploring the scenic trails that wind through forests and lakeshores. Plitvice Lakes was designated Croatia's first national park in 1949 because of its remarkable natural landscape. In 1979, the park was added to the UNESCO World Heritage List for its unique geological and ecological importance. Today, Plitvice Lakes National Park remains one of Europe's most extraordinary natural destinations, where water, forest, and limestone create a constantly evolving landscape. Perast, Montenegro. Perast rests along the quiet shores of the Bay of Kotor in southwestern Montenegro, surrounded by steep limestone mountains. This small coastal town sits about 12 kilometers/7.5 miles northwest of Kotor along the Adriatic coastline. Stone houses and historic palaces line the narrow waterfront, reflecting the town's strong maritime heritage. During the 17th and 18th centuries, Perast grew into an important naval and trading center of the Adriatic region. Wealth from maritime trade allowed local families to build elegant Baroque-style residences along the shoreline. The calm waters of the bay mirror the town's stone architecture and the dramatic mountains rising behind it. Just offshore lie two small islands that add to Perast's distinctive coastal scenery. Traditional boats regularly travel between the town and these islands, offering scenic views across the bay. Perast remains quiet compared to larger coastal towns, preserving its historic atmosphere and slow pace of life. Local restaurants along the waterfront serve fresh Adriatic seafood, grilled fish, and Mediterranean-inspired dishes. Fishing and tourism support much of the local economy, while nearby towns contribute to regional trade and travel. Walking through Perast reveals stone stairways, small squares, and peaceful streets overlooking the bay. Sunset views across the Bay of Kotor often create striking reflections across the calm water. Perast continues to represent Montenegro's maritime past, where coastal architecture and natural beauty meet along the Adriatic shore. Lake Bled, Slovenia. Lake Bled lies in northwestern Slovenia at the edge of the Julian Alps, surrounded by forests and alpine peaks. The lake sits about 475 meters (1,558 feet) above sea level, forming one of Slovenia's most recognizable landscapes. Clear turquoise water surrounds a small island positioned near the center of the lake. Traditional wooden boats, known locally as pletna, quietly transport visitors across the calm surface. Steep cliffs rise above the northern shore, where Bled Castle overlooks the lake from a height of about 130 meters (427 feet). This medieval castle provides sweeping views across the lake, the island, and the surrounding mountain scenery. The lake itself stretches roughly 2.1 kilometers (1.3 miles) in length. And about 1.4 kilometers (0.87 miles) in width. A scenic walking path circles the shoreline, offering peaceful viewpoints from nearly every direction. Rowing, paddle boating, and swimming are popular activities during the warmer months. Winter brings a different atmosphere when snow covers the surrounding alpine forests and hills. The nearby town of Bled supports tourism through hotels, restaurants, and local businesses. One of the region's famous desserts is the Bled cream cake, known locally as kremšnita. This layered pastry has become a culinary symbol of the town and is widely served in cafes near the lake. Lake Bled remains one of Slovenia's most iconic destinations, where alpine scenery and tranquil waters create a remarkable natural setting. Istanbul, Turkey. Istanbul stands at the crossroads of Europe and Asia, stretching along the shores of the Bosphorus Strait in northwestern Turkey. The city connects the Black Sea to the Sea of Marmara, making it one of the most strategically located cities in the world. With a population of more than 15 million people, Istanbul is Turkey's largest and most influential urban center. For over 2,000 years, the city served as a major hub of trade, culture, and imperial power. Historically known as Byzantium and later Constantinople, Istanbul became the capital of several powerful empires. Today, the city blends ancient heritage with modern urban life across a vast metropolitan landscape. Historic districts reveal centuries-old architecture, narrow streets, and traditional marketplaces filled with local crafts. The Bosphorus waterfront adds another dimension to the city, where ferries travel between continents every day. Large bridges and tunnels now connect the European and Asian sides of Istanbul across the narrow strait. Local cuisine reflects the diversity of Turkish culture, featuring dishes such as kebabs, fresh breads, and sweet pastries. Bustling markets offer spices, textiles, and handmade goods that represent long traditions of craftsmanship. The city also serves as Turkey's economic center, with major industries including finance, tourism, trade, and shipping. Public squares, waterfront promenades, and lively neighborhoods contribute to Istanbul's vibrant city life. Today, Istanbul remains one of the world's most fascinating cities where continents, cultures, and centuries of history meet. Ohrid, Macedonia. Ohrid sits along the northern shores of Lake Ohrid in southwestern North Macedonia, surrounded by gentle hills and mountain landscapes. The town lies about 695 meters (2,280 feet) above sea level, overlooking one of Europe's oldest and deepest lakes. Lake Ohrid itself reaches depths of nearly 288 meters (945 feet), and stretches along the border between North Macedonia and Albania. This remarkable lake formed millions of years ago and supports many rare aquatic species found nowhere else. Ohrid developed as an important cultural and trading center during ancient and medieval periods. Stone houses and narrow streets climb the hillside above the lake, creating a layered historic skyline. The town's historic core preserves traditional Balkan architecture with wooden balconies and red-tiled roofs. Visitors often walk along the lakeside promenade where boats travel across the calm blue water. Local fishermen still work along the shore, continuing traditions that have existed for generations. The surrounding region is known for freshwater fish dishes, especially those prepared from the lake's native species. Tourism now plays a major role in the local economy, attracting travelers interested in nature and history. Summer festivals, cultural events, and lakeside activities bring energy to the town throughout the year. Nearby hills provide scenic viewpoints overlooking Lake Ohrid and the surrounding mountain landscape. Today, Ohrid remains one of North Macedonia's most important destinations, where natural beauty and centuries of heritage exist side by side. Mostar, Bosnia and Herzegovina. Mostar lies in southern Bosnia and Herzegovina along the banks of the Neretva River. The city sits within a narrow valley surrounded by rocky hills and Mediterranean-influenced landscapes. Its historic center developed along the turquoise waters of the Neretva, creating one of the most recognizable scenes in the Balkans. At the heart of Mostar stands the famous Stari Most, or Old Bridge, arching about 24 meters/79 feet above the river. Originally built in the 16th century, the stone bridge became a powerful symbol of the city's identity. The elegant arch connects the two sides of the historic town and reflects beautifully in the clear river below. Traditional stone houses and narrow streets surround the bridge, forming a lively historic district. Small shops, craft stalls and cafes line the old bazaar streets, preserving a traditional trading atmosphere. Local cuisine reflects Balkan flavors, including grilled meats, stuffed vegetables, and freshly baked breads. The surrounding region also produces fruits, honey, and regional specialties from nearby farms. Tourism now plays a major role in the city's economy, with visitors arriving to explore its historic character. Many travelers watch local divers who occasionally leap from the bridge into the cold Neretva waters below. Nearby viewpoints and walking paths offer striking views of the bridge and the surrounding valley. Today, Mostar stands as one of the Balkans' most memorable cities, where history, culture, and dramatic landscapes meet beside the river. Kotor, Montenegro. Kotor lies along the inner curve of the Bay of Kotor in southwestern Montenegro, surrounded by steep limestone mountains. The town rests at the base of Mount Lovćen, where rugged slopes rise dramatically above the calm Adriatic waters. Kotor's historic center developed within fortified stone walls that still encircle the old town today. These defensive walls climb the mountainside for nearly 4.5 kilometers / 2.8 miles, creating one of the most impressive fortifications in the Balkans. Narrow stone streets weave through the old town, connecting small squares, historic houses, and quiet courtyards. Many of the town's buildings reflect centuries of Adriatic maritime trade and cultural exchange. The harbour once served as an important naval and commercial port linking the Balkans with Mediterranean routes. Today, small boats and yachts anchor along the waterfront beneath the towering mountain cliffs. Kotor's old town was recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site because of its well-preserved medieval architecture. Visitors often climb the ancient stone steps that lead up the hillside fortifications above the town. From these viewpoints, wide panoramas open across the Bay of Kotor and surrounding mountain landscapes. Local restaurants serve traditional Montenegrin and Adriatic cuisine, including seafood, cheeses, and fresh breads. Tourism and maritime activities support much of the local economy in this historic coastal region. Kotor remains one of Montenegro's most remarkable destinations, where medieval streets meet dramatic natural scenery along the Adriatic coast. Dubrovnik, Croatia. Dubrovnik stands along Croatia's southern Adriatic coast, overlooking the clear blue waters of the Mediterranean. The city sits at the base of Mount Surge, where limestone hills rise above the historic shoreline. Often called the Pearl of the Adriatic, Dubrovnik is known for its remarkably preserved medieval architecture. Its historic old town is completely surrounded by massive stone walls that stretch about 1.9 kilometers / 1.2 miles. These fortifications were built between the 13th and 16th centuries to protect the city from coastal threats. Walking along the top of the city walls provides sweeping views of red-tiled rooftops and the Adriatic Sea. Inside the walls, narrow stone streets lead to open squares, historic buildings, and lively marketplaces. The main street, Stradun, forms the central promenade of the Old Town and connects several historic districts. For centuries, Dubrovnik prospered as an independent maritime republic known for its trade and diplomacy. The harbour continues to welcome boats and travellers exploring the Adriatic coastline. Local restaurants serve Mediterranean dishes such as grilled seafood, olive oil specialties, and fresh vegetables. Tourism today plays a major role in the city's economy, supported by hotels, cultural events, and coastal excursions. Nearby islands and beaches add to Dubrovnik's scenic appeal, offering boat trips and coastal exploration. Dubrovnik remains one of Croatia's most celebrated historic cities, where medieval streets meet the beauty of the Adriatic Sea. Tirana, Albania. Tirana stands in central Albania, stretching across a broad plain between gentle hills and the distant Dajti Mountains. With a population of around 500,000 people in the city and over 900,000 in the metropolitan area, it is Albania's largest urban center. The city developed along ancient trade routes connecting the Adriatic coast with the Balkan interior. Today, Tirana serves as the political, economic and cultural capital of the country. At the center of the city lies Skanderbeg Square, a large open plaza surrounded by government buildings, museums and cultural institutions. Wide boulevards and public parks radiate from this square, forming the heart of the modern city layout. Tirana's architecture reflects different historical periods, including Ottoman-era structures and colorful modern buildings. In recent years, many public spaces have been redesigned with vibrant colors and contemporary urban design. The city's main park, the Grand Park of Tirana, surrounds an artificial lake that offers walking paths and green landscapes. Local markets and restaurants showcase Albanian cuisine with dishes such as tave kosi, grilled meats and fresh vegetables. Small cafes line the streets, reflecting the relaxed social lifestyle common across Albanian cities. Tourism, services and business activities now drive much of the city's economic growth. Cable cars from the city edge rise toward Mount Dajti at about 1,613 meters (5,292 feet), offering views across the capital. Today, Tirana represents Albania's modern transformation, where historic influences meet energetic urban development. Zagreb, Croatia. Zagreb stands in northern Croatia along the Sava River near the southern slopes of Medvednica Mountain. With a population of about 800,000 people, it is the largest city and the capital of Croatia. The city developed where historic trade routes connected Central Europe with the Adriatic coast. Today, Zagreb serves as the country's political, cultural and economic center. The historic core of the city is divided into two main districts, known as the Upper Town and Lower Town. Upper Town preserves medieval streets, stone buildings, and historic squares on a small hill above the city. Lower Town spreads across wider boulevards lined with parks, museums, and elegant Austro-Hungarian architecture. Zagreb Cathedral rises above the skyline and remains one of the most recognizable landmarks of the city. Public squares and markets play an important role in daily life, especially the lively Dolak market. Local vendors there sell fresh produce, cheeses, baked goods, and regional Croatian specialties. The city also hosts many cultural events, art exhibitions, and music festivals throughout the year. Cafes and restaurants along pedestrian streets serve traditional Croatian dishes and modern European cuisine. Tourism, business services, and education contribute significantly to Zagreb's growing economy. Today, Zagreb combines historic charm with modern European city life, creating a vibrant capital in the heart of Croatia. Var, Croatia. Var lies along Croatia's Dalmatian coast in the Adriatic Sea, forming one of the most famous islands in the region. The island stretches about 68 kilometers/42 miles in length and is known for its sunny Mediterranean climate. Rocky hills, olive groves, and lavender fields shape much of Hvar's natural landscape. The main town, also called Hvar, developed around a sheltered harbor used for centuries by sailors and traders. Historic stone buildings surround the central square, one of the largest coastal plazas in the Adriatic region. Narrow limestone streets climb gently uphill from the harbor toward old stone houses and quiet terraces. Above the town stands the Fortica fortress, positioned about 85 meters/279 feet above sea level. From this hilltop, wide views open across the harbour and the small Paklini Islands nearby. Fishing, agriculture and maritime trade historically shaped life on the island. Today, tourism plays a major role in the local economy, especially during the summer travel season. Local cuisine highlights Mediterranean flavors, including grilled fish, olive oil dishes, and fresh vegetables. Small restaurants along the waterfront serve seafood caught in the surrounding Adriatic waters. Visitors often explore nearby coves, quiet beaches, and boat routes around the island's rugged coastline. Hvar remains one of Croatia's most attractive Adriatic islands, where historic towns meet clear waters and sunny Mediterranean landscapes. Zadar, Croatia. Zadar lies along Croatia's northern Dalmatian coast, overlooking the clear blue waters of the Adriatic Sea. The city sits on a small peninsula surrounded by historic walls and calm coastal waters. With a history of more than 3,000 years, Zadar is one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities on the Adriatic coast. Different civilizations, including Roman, Byzantine, and Venetian cultures, shaped the city's development over centuries. Roman ruins and stone streets still appear across parts of the historic old town. The peninsula's compact layout allows visitors to walk easily between squares, waterfront promenades, and historic districts. Zadar's coastline also features several small islands and scenic harbors visible from the city's waterfront. One of the city's most distinctive attractions is the sea organ, a unique architectural installation along the shore. Ocean waves move through underwater pipes, creating soft musical tones that echo along the promenade. Nearby, the modern installation known as the Greeting to the Sun captures solar energy and lights up the waterfront after sunset. Local restaurants serve traditional Dalmatian cuisine, including seafood, olive oil dishes, and fresh Mediterranean vegetables. Fishing and maritime activities remain important parts of the region's coastal economy. The surrounding archipelago provides opportunities for sailing, boat tours, and exploring quiet Adriatic islands. Today, Zadar combines ancient heritage with modern creativity, offering a coastal city where history and innovation meet beside the sea. Veliko Tarnovo, Bulgaria. Veliko Tarnovo lies in north-central Bulgaria along the winding banks of the Yantra River. The city spreads across steep hills and deep river valleys, creating one of Bulgaria's most dramatic historic landscapes. Stone houses rise along the hillsides, forming layers of colorful buildings overlooking the river below. This unique terrain has shaped the city's appearance and defensive design for centuries. Veliko Tarnovo served as the capital of the Second Bulgarian Empire between the 12th and 14th centuries. During that period, the city became a powerful political, cultural, and economic center of medieval Bulgaria. At the heart of the historic skyline stands the Zarovets Fortress, located on a hill rising about 206 meters (676 feet) above the river. Stone walls and towers surround the fortress, preserving the remains of medieval royal and administrative buildings. Walking paths lead visitors through the fortress grounds, offering wide views across the surrounding hills and valleys. The old town below features narrow streets lined with traditional houses and craft workshops. Local artisans produce handmade ceramics, woodwork, and textiles that reflect long Bulgarian traditions. Regional cuisine includes dishes such as banitsa, grilled meats, and slow-cooked stews served in family restaurants. Tourism now supports much of the local economy, bringing visitors interested in history and architecture. Veliko Tarnovo remains one of Bulgaria's most historic cities, where medieval heritage and striking landscapes combine along the Yantra River. Zakynthos, Greece. Zakynthos lies in the Ionian Sea along Greece's western coastline, forming one of the most scenic islands in the region. The island stretches about 40 kilometers (25 miles) in length and roughly 20 kilometers (12 miles) in width. Its coastline features dramatic limestone cliffs, hidden coves, and beaches with bright turquoise water. Many travelers recognize Zakynthos for its striking coastal landscapes and clear Mediterranean seas. One of the island's most famous natural sites is Navajo Beach, often called Shipwreck Beach. This secluded bay is surrounded by towering cliffs rising nearly 200 meters (656 feet) above the shoreline. A shipwreck resting on the white sand became an iconic symbol of the island's coastal scenery. Zakynthos also supports rich marine life within the surrounding Ionian waters. The nearby protected marine area helps preserve important habitats for sea turtles that nest along several beaches. Traditional villages across the island maintain a relaxed Mediterranean lifestyle shaped by agriculture and fishing. Olive groves and vineyards cover many of the island's hillsides, contributing to local food production. Restaurants commonly serve dishes made with fresh seafood, olive oil, herbs, and regional vegetables. Tourism has become the island's main economic activity, drawing visitors from across Europe. Today, Zakynthos stands as one of Greece's most beautiful island destinations, where rugged cliffs and clear waters define the landscape. Across the Balkans, every landscape tells a different story. From the turquoise rivers of Slovenia and the mountain parks of Montenegro to the historic towns of Croatia and Bulgaria. These places reveal a region shaped by nature, culture, and thousands of years of human history. Each city, lake, and coastline reflects a unique identity that continues to attract travelers from around the world. And wherever your next journey takes you, may it be full of wonder. If this journey inspired you, please like and subscribe. It is completely free, yet it helps creators more than you can imagine. And tell us in the comments, which country should we explore next?